Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel and today we will discuss the situation in Ukraine on the 21st of August. Today we have a lot of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we are going to discuss the report of Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation. They gave us new numbers. According to that report, the Russians during the previous hours attacked this 28th Mechanized Brigade and this 35th Marine Corps Brigade. As you can see, according to this map, the main position of this brigade is between Nikolaev and Kherson. And the main goal, main job of these brigades, or to start offensive operation in direction of Kherson, or to stop the Russians, if the Russians starts offensive operation in direction of Nikolaev. If we're talking about the towns, about the areas where the Russians attack, first, if we're talking about the Russians, they attacked the area near David Brody, and the Russians attacked the warehouse near town by the name of Tokarevo. It's located on the north of David Brody, on the north of Kherson. And the second place where the Russians was attacked is near the Yuzhno-Ukrainsk power plant that located on the north from Nikolaev. These are power plant, nuclear power plant, and the Russians attack somewhere around town by the name of Antonovka in this area. And as a result of that attack, the Ukraine lost up to 100 soldiers and something around 7 armored vehicles. If we take a look at the table I tried to fill with the data, we're gonna see that the Russians were hunting this 28th Mechanized Brigade during this week. On Thursday this week, the losses of this brigade was around 60 soldiers and 8 armored vehicles. Yesterday, the Russians reported that the losses of this brigade were around 200 soldiers of this 28th Mechanized Brigade, and today around 50. And if we're talking about 35th, the same situation. During this week, this brigade, this corps were hunted by the Russians, and on Thursday, the losses of this brigade was around 130 soldiers lost. Why I'm saying this? Because today we got report from the Russian sources that they managed to establish control over a small town on the west of Snegirivka, this small village Blagodatnaya. And this information was confirmed by the Ukrainian military authorities. If you take a look at the West Sources map, you're gonna see that there is an icon of red flag saying that the Russians established control over this town. They were attacking in two directions, from Snegirivka towards Nikolaev and from the south. And as you can see, this map is not updated, but as you can see, the Russians managed to break through the defense line of Ukrainians near Snegirivka, and they're moving in the direction of Nikolaev. The thing is that we can say that maybe this town was somewhere in the gray zone, and as it sometimes be in the morning, Ukrainians are keeping this town, in the evening the Russians, and the next day the situation changes. But there is one important update. The Russian sources are saying that during this week the Russians made few attempts of destroying this bridge. This is the only bridge in Nikolaev. Nikolaev is not a very big town, but it's a very dangerous town because the Ukrainians has a lot of forces in this town, and using this town they are keeping their artillery and so on, and they're trying to attack Antonov Bridge, Kurakhov Bridge. So it's a very important defense fortification position of Ukrainians. And of course the Russians, if they want to be on the safe side on this bridgehead, if they want to develop their offensive operation in the future, of course they need to do something with Nikolaev, and it will ease their job in the future. So during this week the Russians were trying to cut this bridge, the only bridge. For now this bridge is still totally works. This bridge was damaged, but Ukrainians still are able to use it. Anyway, I suppose that the Russians are going to continue this shelling and rocket attack of this bridge. And the thing is that if the Russians are able to destroy this bridge, that means that the Ukrainians in Nikolaev will lose their support from Odessa. As you know, there are a lot of forces in Odessa, there are a lot of foreign volunteers, a lot of West weapons and so on. And if the Russians destroy this bridge, then the Ukrainians will have to make a very big support shoulder through Voznesensk, and then they will be able just to move forces to Nikolaev. And this is the reason why the Russians started their offensive operation towards Blagodatnaya. because there are a few ways how to establish control over Nikolaev. The first one is to attack from the south. The second one, of course, to attack from the middle. And the third one, to attack from the north and to try to cut these supply roads and to cut Nikolaev from supply. So I suppose maybe that the Russians started their offensive operation against Nikolaev, because we know that the Ukrainians were planning to start their own offensive operation, but their plans, but they didn't do anything. And meanwhile, the Russians managed to move a lot of forces in this area. And now, because of the fact that they have some forces, they decided to start their own offensive operation. Furthermore, you remember that in Kherson district, few Ukrainians brigade were prepared. This brigade consists of Ukrainians who used to live on the Ukrainian territory, from Odessa, from Nikolaev, from Kiev. So this might be the first Ukrainian brigade offensive operation on the south of Ukraine. Now the important updates are coming from the south of Marinka, from this area. As you know, the Russians started some offensive operation in direction of Ugledar, and according to the Russian sources, they managed to achieve some success in this area, and they managed to encircle Ugledar from two sides, from the south. There were some updates about the fact that the Russians established control. They got Pavlovka, and from the north, from these landfills. So, but there were no more updates about this, and if we're talking about this area, more updates are coming from the town by the name of Novomikhailivka, this one. This, according to the map of this position, this area is under defense of 66 Mechanized Brigade. This 66 Mechanized Brigade, their main goal, their main object is to stop the Russians in Marinka and Novomikhailivka, in this area. And as a result of Russian attack in this area, this brigade lost somewhere around 30 soldiers and 6 armored vehicles. And mainly that was around the town Novomikhailivka, this one. Another important update are coming from Ukraine, and it was some kind of just data. And the Russians were talking about 57th Motorized Brigade. This one is, this brigade used to be on the area between Seversk and Artyomovsk and Zaitsevo, on this Zelensky defense line. And the Russians published new documents, some documents, secret documents of this brigade. There is a certain icon about that on this map. And the Russians are saying that during the previous, desertions of 57th Brigade, the Russians are saying, they published these papers, that during the August and July, something around 826 soldiers left their position and left in a known direction. That's about 57th Brigade, 57th Mechanized Brigade. And if you remember, there was a lot of updates and about the rocket attack and so on. And as you can see, this brigade is located on the zero line. So I suppose that soldiers decided just to save their lives and not to be the meat on the front line. Another important update are coming from New York agglomeration, from this area, from New York, Donetsk, and the south of Bakhmut. Today we got second confirmation of the fact that the Russians got Zaitsevo, this one. If you remember, this town used to be under Ukrainian control, but this week we got update. Just let me check my table. Yes, on Friday we got update that Zaitsevo and Dacha, these two towns that located in the south from Bakhmut, has fallen. Dacha and Zaitsevo, these two towns. And today we got the second confirmation about that the Russians cleared this area totally, and now they control more than like maybe 70-80%, because this is a very long town. If you take a look at the West Sources map, you're gonna see that this is the border of this town. So as you can see, this town ends on the north, on the west side from Kadema. So I suppose that the Russians managed to take just the south part with Dacha. So I suppose that they control something like this. And today we got another report from the Russians that now they started their offensive operation towards the block by the name of Mayorskaya, this one. This is the railroad station. The Russians are trying to attack and to establish control over this logistics center. As you can see, there are a lot of roads and a lot of supply lines, and the Ukrainians are using these lines to rainforest to move some supply to New York, to Toretsk, and in the back direction as well. So maybe next week we're going to see the entire collapse of this area, and after that the Russians will develop their offensive operation in direction of Kurdyumovka, this town. If we are talking about other areas, there is no updates. There are heavy clashes all along the front line. There are artillery duels near Seversk. The Russians, if we're talking about Izum bridgehead, as you can see, there is an icons very far from the bridgehead that the web source map are showing us. And today we got a lot of confirmation of the fact that the Russians are moving in direction of Barvenkovo. They're not attacking directly Barvenkovo, but the main idea, the Russians want to cut the railroad that connects Barvenkovo and Slavyansk, Kramatorsk agglomeration. So they just want to cut the final supply road of this agglomeration, and after that it will be much more. It will be easier to crack this Donbas Arc operation than it used to be. If we are talking about Seversk and about Kharkiv, there is no changes. The Russians but they moved from Udy in direction of Zolochev, trying to crack the fortification around this town. By this evening, the Russians established control in this area over Udy, over Baranovka, or Odnorobovka. There are a lot of towns, and the Russians are trying to crack them, moving step by step. And I suppose that after taking Udy and Odnorobovka, they will try to make some regrouping and so on. And the next week, they will continue moving towards Zolochev. And after Zolochev, they will be able to move further towards Bogodukhov, this town. And as we discussed, the Russians choose there to use the wide distance encirclement of Kharkiv. Also, today was a very important update from Moscow. As you know, maybe you don't know, there was a terrorist attack on Alexander Dugin. Maybe you don't know who is this. Alexander Dugin is a very famous person in Russia. We can say that Alexander Dugin is the architect of Russian philosophy, of modern Russian philosophy, or at least some people are calling him like this. Alexander Dugin is the architect of new modern Russian philosophy, or if we are talking about the words we know, he is the architect of new Russian world, of this idea. He's a very famous person, he's a philosopher, he's the the thing is that he's a friend of Putin, of course. He's the head of some groups in Russia, of some closed groups and so on. And yesterday in the evening, there was a terrorist attack. For now, nobody knows who exactly was the executor. But the thing is that there was some kind of meeting where Alexander Dugin has his speech and so on. And after that speech, he should use his car. But right before getting into car, he changed his plans and he sat into another car and moved to Moscow for some deal, for some business or something like this. But his daughter took his car and his car was mined, and as soon as she started movement, this mine detonated and his daughter was killed. If we're talking about the Russian media, all of the Russian press and media are saying that that was some kind of attack of Ukrainians. Because we understand the importance of this person, of this Dugin, for the Russians. He is, like, as I told you, architect of Russian philosophy, as some people are calling him, and that's a very terrible thing, of course. But if we're talking about the official position, there is no official position for now. There is an investigation about this situation, so I suppose that soon we're going to get some updates. But anyway, this morning, we got an update from Ukrainians, from their authorities. They requested the personnel who is working in the authorities, Kiev, Ukrainian authorities, not to work remotely since the 22nd of August till the 25th or 26th of August. So the Ukrainian authorities decided not to work in the offices because, as far as I understand, they're expecting some attacks or rocket attacks from the Russian side. So that's why they just want to be on the safe side until everything is going to be, at least we got some information about the situation. And that's it for today. Military Summer channel reminds you that we condemn any violence in Ukraine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.